Okay. Um, I have to play this piece of audio for you. It's absolutely unbelievable. Let me ask you this. If the Congress would have approved a measure that removed the ban on bestiality in our military, A, would that be a problem? And B, is that an appropriate question to ask where the president stands on bestiality in the military?
It's really kind of unbelievable because there are certain basic standards of decency in a society. Of course it would be terrible to remove the ban because that's just a part of civilization.
Correct. Is it an appropriate question to ask where the president stands on the removal of the ban on bestiality or not?
I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but it's certainly, if it's asked, it's asked.
Okay.
It's a bizarre concept to me.
Do you have the okay, we'll have it in the next segment. You won't believe this. You won't believe.
Who asked him? A reporter?
Yeah, a reporter asked him. But the ban was lifted.
What?
In the Senate, they voted
to lift it from what?
To lift it from the military. They lifted the
on what basis? What good would be
they lifted
benefited?
the sodomy ban,
right,
and the bestiality ban.
So can you get any more deviant
than bestiality?
It's defining deviancy down.
Well,
That's
I
what
don't know how much more deviant you
right.
go from bestiality.
I don't either. I don't.
Do you go lower than bestiality?
No,
I don't.
I don't know what it would be.
Okay, we'll play that here in just a second. Let me go and switch over to Iran. Ron Paul is. I like Ron Paul for some of the things he says. I find Ron Paul perplexing. To hand the keys of nuclear weapons to the regime of Iran seems insane. He says the world will respect them. What right do we have to say they can't have nuclear weapons? I'm a libertarian that believes that I'm a progressive libertarian in reverse of the regular progressives. I want to take what we have and reverse it, but you can't just pull it all out. How could we? Is that insane? Let's start there. Is that insane to say you can go ahead and you can have nuclear weapons in Iran, which is what Ron Paul says? Give them. Why should we write these people off? Let them have nuclear weapons.
Of course it's insane because the leadership of Iran has said that they will use a nuclear weapon to wipe another sovereign nation off the map, which is Israel.
They're just saying that.
They're not saying it. Take a look at history. In the last 100 years, look at all of the madmen and look at their rantings and what they've said.
Well, Stalin said he would do that to us. He never did that to us.
He did it to his own people. Mao did it to his own people. Death by government is very real. In no other century have we seen more death by government than in this last century. I think we don't want to put the leaders, not only the mullahs, but also the president of Iran, we don't want to put this to a test by having them have a nuclear weapon. We don't want them to use it against our ally Israel. We don't want them to use it against the United States or against Europe. If there is a moment of clarity anywhere in the world today, it should be this. Iran can't have a nuclear weapon.
So you send troops?
We do whatever we need to do. We do absolutely anything we need to do to stop it. Only a fool would want, let me first predicate that by saying, Glenn, only a fool would want war. I don't want war. But we need to let Iran know that we mean business, and we need their partners also to know that we mean business.
Do you believe we're on the verge of world war?
That's a question that's being bandied about right now. There's indications
I know, I'm banding it to you.
I know. It's a question whether we are or whether we aren't. But the question is, we have to make sure we never get there fully. It could happen. But the problem with President Obama is
That
that
is
he
such
has
a BS answer.
No, it's not a BS answer. No, it isn't. President Obama has given them 2.5 years to develop a nuclear weapon. All that did is invite the eventuality that we could be there on the precipice.
Ask me that question.
Okay.
Go ahead, ask me.
Are we in a war right now of World War III?
No, we're not in a war right now. Are we on the verge of World War III?
We could be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we could be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The world is a dangerous, dangerous place. The question is, now back to you.
Okay.
What do you do to stop it?
What we have to, it's difficult. It's because we have ceded our options in the last 2.5 years.
So you're president tomorrow. You agree with me that anti-Semitism is through the roof?
Through the roof in the United States.
Right. Crazy.
We're not talking just Europe. We're certainly not talking just the Middle East. We're talking U.S.
I was at I had to go to a lunch today, and Elie Wiesel was speaking. And I went to this lunch, and I walked in. I was late. They introduced me, and I didn't even know I was supposed to. I really just wanted to go to listen to Elie Wiesel. And so I get up, and I just have a couple of remarks off the cuff, and I just said, you know, we live in historic times, and we have to make sure that history doesn't repeat itself.
Yeah.
This guy gets up and walks out on my remarks. Now this is...
You made him mad?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And I thought to
Wake
myself...
up and smell the coffee,
I
buddy.
thought to myself, how...
Just read the paper in the morning. That's all you have to do. Read the New York Times. Read the Wall Street Journal. Read the paper in the morning. It's everywhere.
Do you believe that we are in a time period now, Michelle, where that our children... This is much more than any other time in my life. This is a moment of history where the world will pivot, and they will study this time period for hundreds of years.
They will, because of the so-called Arab Spring. We're talking 2011. Think of what's happened since spring of this year. I'm serious. Hour by hour, we're seeing the world change. That's the velocity of change that we're seeing in the Middle East. Tunisia was supposed to be this big, glorious new uprising where we were going to see Jeffersonian democracy, Sharia law. Same with Egypt. Isn't this wonderful? Mubarak will fall. Now we'll see the rise of Jeffersonian democracy. We just saw 60% of the electorate choose Islamists that want Sharia law.
Muslim Brotherhood and worse.
And worse. And even more Muslim Brotherhood. That's essentially what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So the big question when the so-called Arab Spring began was, would this be the pivot point? We haven't seen anything like this in the last 40 years, and all of our worst nightmares are being realized right before our eyes.
I want to come back, and we'll have this amazing question and answer from the White House on this bestiality thing. I want to pick it up with kind of where the velocity of how things are changing, where I think things are going to be this summer, and you as president, how would you put this crazy genie back into the bottle? Back in a second.